County, WCCS, AM 1160, 101.1 FM. I keep moving this thing away because that way we get a straight shot with the camera. You're on Facebook, by the way. Don't be frightened by that. It is Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank. And in the studio with me this morning, we meet the second. This is the second of our Spruce Arts Residency artists in town. Hannah Harley is here, and you brought us Rebecca Sutton.
I did.
Yeah.
So Rebecca Sutton has joined us from New York City and is here for 2 weeks, living and working in Indiana County. And the Spruce Art Residency invites applicants to then come to Indiana County for an art residency, basically a getaway, like a cabin in the woods. Instead of a cabin in the woods, they're coming to downtown Indiana to live and work. They have a studio, an apartment. And so Rebecca is one of our August artisan residents.
Small town girl from New York City, huh? Rebecca, good morning.
Hi.
It's good to have you with us. Leslie Walmsley was from Brooklyn the last time when she was here. Probably you run across her all the time, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Small
Brooklyn's,
town.
such a small town. We just run into each other all the time. We're old friends.
So it's easy to say, well, Rebecca, what brings you to Indiana? But we know what brings you to Indiana. It's the Spruce Artist Residency. Tell us about yourself. You're from New York City?
I grew up in Portland, Oregon, and moved to New York when I was 21, which is 8 years ago. So I'm almost from New York now.
Yeah, you're a New Yorker by now. You don't have the accent down yet, but
not quite.
we'll work on that. What is your art?
I make watercolor paintings of women, nude women, on fabric that I then sew soft sculpture into. So soft sculpture is sculpture made with soft things, fabric and like stuffed animal stuffing.
Okay.
So they're part paintings, part three-dimensional sculptures, and then I incorporate lots of found objects into them as well.
How did you ever come up with that?
I was working on watercolor on paper for years, and I started cutting them out, the figures out, so they could have more like agency. They could interact in the world in a more similar way to the actual bodies. And I was trying to incorporate sculptural elements into that as well, but it was really tough to manipulate the paper in that way. Paper is just not that strong. It's difficult, so I eventually just moved to fabric.
Was it something you struck upon by yourself? Did you see it somewhere else, or did you say, I'm going to give this a try?
It was like a lightning strike moment.
Yeah.
One day I woke up and was like, fabric. I should do that instead. I'd been working with fabric, making just plain sculptures. And I was like, I'm pretty sure people paint on that too.
I'm pretty sure people paint on that. It is a challenge, though, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, but it's part of the learning process, or the learning process is part of the artistic process. So like when things don't go exactly as planned, it can be a surprise that I enjoy instead of try to rebel against.
Yeah. Wow, it sounds really cool. So this is what you do, and now somehow you end up in Indiana, Pennsylvania. Talk about how that process all went through.
I have been applying to residencies just back to back this year. And Hannah's residency was the first one that accepted me. And, you know, like the chance to do a residency outside of New York City, especially outside of having to do all my normal daily life things, is like an opportunity that is profoundly awesome.
Yeah.
So the fact that I got to take a 10-hour bus ride away from my home is actually a great thing, and something that I'm really celebrating right now.
Oh, it sounds neat. So you've got here when?
I got here on the 1st, so about a week ago.
And how long are you going to be here?
I'm going to be here for about another week. Yeah.
And you're enjoying it?
I am super enjoying it. It is so great. Like, not only not having to do the things in my daily life, but to be in a place that's completely unlike where I live is it's such a fun opportunity.
Really?
Yeah.
Really. I want to talk to you more about that in a couple of moments. But Hannah, let's talk to you a little bit about Rebecca and how it was that you decided, this is a good matchup. the Spruce Arts Residency and Rebecca Sutton.
Yeah, so we have a panel that looks through the artists' applicants, and the panel could see that she was working towards a new idea and really liked the work and how she talked about it and how moving forward she had this plan of like, this is what I want to be doing. And when you see that, there are a lot of artists that in their application talk specifically about how Indiana County, they want to incorporate Indiana County into their work. And something we've seen with both Leslie's work and Rebecca's work, cicadas have found their way into artwork.
Yeah.
Which, like, you know, we've taken advantage of we're used to the hundreds of cicadas, thousands of them that we see every day. Whereas these artists are rediscovering these cicadas and incorporating them into artwork. So it's been interesting to see then how Indiana also influences their work too.
Boy, cicadas are once every 17 years, so you came at the right time.
Apparently, I'm lucky.
Where have you been working since you got here?
The studio space that Hannah provides for us, or Spruce provides for us, is
In the old theater building.
Oh, okay.
So it's downtown. It's at 637 Philadelphia Street. So when we host open studios, it's there. There's an art community actually on the second floor with art studios. So the Arts Council is their office. And so that's where, and then we also have an exhibition space there as well.
Yeah. And can people see Rebecca's work there?
Absolutely. So on Saturday, we have an exhibition of 4 of the artists that are in town right now. It's the Artists in Residence, which is called The Form. And it opens at 6 p.m. at the Clark Gallery, which is our exhibition space, which is 637 Philadelphia Street with an entrance on Carpenter Avenue. And that is work by Rima Day, Marianne Brain, Leslie Walmsley, who was on the other day, and of course Rebecca Sutton here.
Oh, terrific. Hannah, tell me about working here in Indiana. Obviously, it's much different probably from Portland and from New York City. This is rather a unique setting for you.
Yeah, I mean, working in a place where everything that I have, or that I need is in a 3-block radius is very, very unique. I'm used to having a very long commute to just do anything. And being able to, I mean, just having the opportunity to like leave my studio to go get lunch and have that be a half-hour process, like going back to the apartment and going back to the studio being such a short thing is like, it's been amazing and like afforded me the ability to really focus in the studio in a way that is not possible in a bigger city setting.
Yeah, you can walk anywhere you want to go and be there in 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't have to be jostled by people or anything like that.
No.
And I would guess that by being a part of this program, you get a chance to meet other artists that maybe you would not have.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because most of the artists who are doing the residency right now are also living in Brooklyn. So we get to meet each other and, you know, hang out in this sort of isolated artistic place. But then we're going to be able to continue our relationships when we go back home.
Yeah.
So it's in a way like building my New York community by coming to Indiana, Pennsylvania.
Well, being within the arts community, you wouldn't be subject to this, but I certainly would. I would look at the other artists and what they're doing, and I would say, I'm sorry, I can't match up. I can't measure up with that. But isn't it great to see the way that people express themselves?
Yeah, working with other artists is only good for creativity and expression. And right now, every artist who's here is making work that is totally unrelated to one another, or seemingly unrelated. So there's no opportunity even for that kind of competitive nature to rise up because everyone is doing something so unique that it's only a learning opportunity.
Her name is Rebecca Sutton. She is one of the visiting artists with the Spruce Arts Residency here in Indiana. So since you've been here, what have you been working on? Take me through not the entire process, but take me through the process of beginning to end on one of your pieces.
So right now I'm working on a series based on the 4 elements, 4 paintings for each of the earth, fire, water, air elements. And so I start out by painting. I'm doing 2 at a time because the process of water on fabric requires lots of waiting for it to dry before I can continue.
Mm-hmm.
So I do a little bit on each one, alternating while the other one is drying. And then after that, I decide what elements are going to become sculptural. So I have a sewing machine here that I brought from home, and I sew basically like they're like stuffed animals, but they're just pieces of a figure, like a hand or a belly or a leg. And then after that, I decide what parts are going to become the found sculpture parts. So like for the air sculpture, I have been scanning the sidewalks of Pennsylvania Avenue for flying insects that are there for me to harvest. So that's where the cicada came in. So the anything that flies relates to air is now a part of this painting.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see. We got to get her out to Yarnix and get her a tomato worm.
Absolutely.
If they have any out there.
Who knows?
But yeah, that's an amazing creature.
Yeah.
It's not a flying. You'll put that in the ground part.
Okay, I'll put that in the earth one. Sounds cool though.
They're incredible creatures. So colorful. All right. So it's been good meeting you. We wish you the best of not only the rest of your residency here in Indiana, but and your time here in Indiana, but with wherever this takes you, and however your career turns out. It'd be interesting to follow. Do we have a website or a Facebook page or something that we can follow?
Yeah, my website is RebeccaSuttonArt.com.
Easy enough.
Yeah, easy
Yeah.
enough.
Easy enough.
And then tonight we also have an artist talk by Marianne Brain and Rima Day. They will be having an individual artist talk and then followed by a discussion at 5 p.m. at the Artist Hand Gallery.
And is Marianne going to be here tomorrow?
Marianne
She
will
is.
be here tomorrow morning to talk more about her art. She's another Brooklyn artist coming in to talk about her art and her experiences.
Yeah, man. Jack's going to probably have to wear one of his Brooklyn Dodgers shirts. Jack's a big Brooklyn Dodgers fan from growing up.
Yeah.
Just so he fits in.
Right, right.
There you go. Well, wonderful to have you with us again today, Rebecca. Very good to meet you, and thanks for coming in to visit with us.
Thanks so much for having me.
We appreciate it. It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS AM 1160, 101.1 FM.